bring order back to men's lives.
Merry Christmas Part 2. We want to throw this out there on Christmas Day. I think this is an important issue, and woke up this morning and this was in my YouTube feed, so I did a video review, wrote out a script, and gave some Bible verses to go along with it after I give the worldly view. Let's see what the Bible has to say. And let me begin by saying this particular person does not hold exclusive views. They're not the only person that has come up with this conclusion. It's been around for a long time, and it's part of the process of being leaving the mom, so to speak. So let me get into the nitty-gritty of this so I can explain that better. Why kids can't read, behave, or do math anymore. Brain science explains everything. And I got this from the YouTube channel called Teacher Brain. And check their website out, or YouTube channel out, and let me begin. Recent discussions highlight a growing crisis in children's foundational academic skills, particularly reading, math, with educators, researchers pointing to changes in brain development, technology use, and educational approaches. Brain science offers insights into why these abilities may be declining, how early learning shapes neural pathways. Key factors include reduced attention spans due to smartphone changes in teaching methods, neurologic development conditions like dyslexia. Additionally, the brain's plasticity, its ability to adapt from new connections, is strongest in early childhood, making early intervention critical. Reading difficulties from memorization to comprehension. Many children appear to read well in early grades by memorizing word shapes, but struggle later to face with unfamiliar words. Skill reading relies on connecting sound, spelling, meaning, not visceral memory by third grade when textbooks demand comprehension over memorization. Gaps because evident. Teachers report students lack strategies to decode new words, often guessing instead of sounding them out. Handwriting, spelling skills have also declined, which are closely linked to reading development. Math struggles to decline in numbers since math proficiency has developed or dropped significantly, with 8th graders now a full year behind 2013 levels. Basic literacy, like comparing fractions or understanding slashes, is eroding. Some students can't divide simply fractions, indicating a failure in comprehensional understanding, not just calculation. Experts link this to reduced engagement in math classrooms, overall reliance on calculators and AI, lack of deep training during critical brain development periods, particularly before neurodevelopment conditions, dyslexia or neurobiological conditions affecting 5 to 10% of children. Both involve differences in brain structure, function, particularly in areas responsible for processing Symbols, language, and numbers. Children with these conditions are not less intelligent. They process information differently. Early diagnosis, target instruction can help them succeed, but many go unidentified, especially in under-resourced schools. Technology in the brain. Smartphones and social media use, widespread since 2015, correlate with declining academic performance. Constant stimulation may reduce attention spans, working memory, repairing the brain's ability to engage in suspected effort, learning like reading, problem solving. Some students believe they don't need to learn math because AI or calculators can do it for them, leading to an intelligence. What does the Bible say? The King James Version Bible say is the claim that kids can't read because or do math anymore is a complex social concern, but the provide context does not support the direct causal link between brain science and the ability to read, behavior, or do math based. While some sources discuss the neurological benefits of memorizing scripture and the impact of learning disability like dyslexia on math performance, there is no evidence in the context that brain science explains the issues. Okay, the idea of math patterns in the KJV, such as numbers 153 appearing in related fish and disciplines, is present as a rather than scientific explanation for educational or behavioral difficulties. Memorizing Bible verses can activate neurologic patterns, helping to strengthen healthy mental pathways, support spiritual development. The notion that children struggling with reading, behavior, or math stem from social changes such as the feminization of institutions. So right there, that's my point. Or a decline in traditional education is present as a speculative theory without scientific backing and provided sources. Some online discussions struggle patterns in the KJV, such as the word Jesus appearing 980 times, or the number 153 reoccurring in the Gospels. But these are not presented as explanation for behavioral issues. No, I wouldn't say that would be. It's kind of interesting to come up with it, though. Let's go to let's go back to the feminization of learning, right? Where did we find that back here? Give me a second. Okay. When you take a boy and you train him up in the pattern of how women think, females think, they don't learn the same in the traditional sense of logic, non-emotions. They become feminine, they become emotional, they become illogical, they become toxic in their behavior, not knowing how to control themselves in such a manner of men or boys previous generations. And you can just look at patterns of children that are close to their fathers. Children that are close to their fathers are more in the masculine, self-controlling, more logical, controlling their emotions when necessary, right? When they are confronted in such manners by bullies, by people testing them, irritating them, they have self-control, or more self-control, or they understand why that person is challenging them. Because as a man, when you're challenged, you can be disconnected by not getting emotional. You have a wait and see attitude. And by having a wait and see attitude, you're processing what's the all the emotion going on. Why are they trying to irritate me? Why are they trying to get a reaction out of me, right? And when you have a woman in that situation, okay, when they're in their true feminine, they're closer to their mom, right? So how do their mom think? Probably emotional, not always self-controlled. Get a little upset when they don't get their way. Things like that. Women are in tune with their feelings. They're intuitive, feeling, sensing other people's feelings, thinking, not saying, "Oh, I thought this," or "I'm thinking this." Oh no, it's more or less. For example, a woman will say, I feel like this," or I just sense that. You know, they're feeling, they're sensing, they're empathetic, they're, you know, so that's how women think. So when we put this into our schools and try to get men or young boys to think in such a manner, they're going to behave in a toxic way, because it's not natural for a man, a boy, to be like a woman in their emotions, not controlled. And from the Bible side of it, it's very biblical for someone to control their emotions and to understand, wait and see. Have a wait and see attitude. Don't get upset. Jesus said, this is, you can look it up. Jesus said, if you're angry, you're basically a murderer. You basically killed that person because you're so angry. So we shouldn't be angry at all. But if you can't control your emotion, it can get out of hand. And if it gets out of hand, what happens? But if you are a boy, a young man, and looking to become an adult man someday and behave in such a manner, you control your emotions. You have a logical thinking process. You're a linear thinker, right? Narrow vision, and you get things done. Like the traditional sense of a man. And if society keeps on controlling children to grow up female-minded, like they are in current society, we're going to have this issue of children, right? The talk, the very top here, the title of this video that we're reviewing, it's called "Why Children Can't Read, Behave, or Do Math Anymore." Well, you can't sit there and think. For men, we must be able to sit down and accomplish what needs to be accomplished, because when we get older, our wives depend on us. I'm sorry, but that's how it is. That's not wishy-washy. That's not, oh, let mom protect the young boy. You know, it needs to be done. This is the reason why it needs to be done. Because when they get into their job and they can't accomplish a project, or they can't sit down and get things done, someone else is going to do it, right? And you can't, if you can't hold a job as a young man, how are you going to support your family, right? And let's say you're not the breadwinner in your family, right? Hypothetically speaking, let's say you're not the breadwinner, but you can still hold your job and do many of the things that your wife depends on or wants in a man. It's okay. But if you are the breadwinner, or you bring home enough where your wife is satisfied, then that's good. And to be a man, you got to step up to the plate by reading, behaving, and doing math. You got to be logical. You got to understand the science, right? You got to be able to observe, sit down, take in the situation. Because when you marry, your wife wants you to be present, to look at her and be present, and to hear her so she feels heard. And that means a lot to a woman. And it's very important. So let's go down here and read some Bible passages relating to this topic. All right? So we're going to start with discipline and focus. Explanation. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he shall not depart from it. And where do you find that in the Bible? It's Proverbs chapter 22, verse 6. Explanation. Develops, execute, function, self-reliant, regulation, persistent, and linked to frontal development. Second principle, wisdom and knowledge. Where do you find this in the Bible? Proverbs chapter 9, verse 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. And explanation. Cultivates a desire for truth, purpose, and deeper understanding, countering shallow digital distractions. And here's another principle. Stewardship of mind. And where do we find this in the Bible? Philippians chapter 4, verse 8. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatever things are honest, whatever things are just, whatever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatever things are so good, report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things. And once again, that's Philippians chapter 4, verse 8. And here's the explanation. Promotes selective engagement with constant choosing, edifying, media over stimulation, addiction, digital input. And a combined approach. Fixing these issues require integrating brain-based understanding with fundamental foundational teachings. Phonics, math basics, parenting involvement. managing technology, fostering discipline, and a renowned focus on cultivating wisdom, purpose, echoing both scientific findings, timeless spiritual calls for sound mind and character. So if you like this video, like and subscribe. As always, check out our YouTube channel, Mademanministries YouTube channel. Check out our website, Mademanministries.com. And if you'd like to donate to our ministry, go to buymeacoffee.com/Mademanministries. And the links are down below. And thanks again.